My desire to play New World has faded. So, my desire for New World, like I said in the beginning, has faded. Um, Not so much the PvE aspect has faded, but the PvP aspect has faded. Now, for a while in PvP, I was running Sword and Shield and Great Axe. In my last video, I talked about how diverse the PvP aspect of the game was, and how I was really enjoying the fact that the game has a lot of diversity when it comes to builds and what people are playing and trying out in game. Over the last week, though, that quickly faded away. The other day, on stream and off stream, I played for about 17 hours with my friend, and we lost pretty much every game in a row. Now, let me be more specific about what's going on. The diversity of the PvP aspect of this game has started to like I guess like shrink. It's not very diverse anymore. Now you're gonna see a lot of the same thing over and over again. So balance packages have changed it a little bit. So Fire Staff is pretty good now. Fire Staff Ice-Gauntlet. But a lot of what's good is was good is still good. So for example, the bow is still very good with the right perks. I'll get into that. The great sword is still extremely good. It's kind of insane. The musket especially. You've got like minor things that I think are a little bit ridiculous, like the hatchet, but it's not that bad. And the rapier really isn't that bad, even though I complain about it a lot. It's just because I always catch myself messing up and hitting the riposte. But let me delve into it. So I played a lot. I know I'm in full light, and technically, if you want to be min maxing, you need to have this as medium. Like I said, I was playing Sword and Shield, and so that actually fills up the bar playing in full light. And I wanted a light roll, but quickly that faded as it became better for me just to run the great sword, because I couldn't compete. So basically, what a lot of PvP is you say there's a guy down there, you running like that light post is a guy, you trying to get close to them. If they have a musket, they're gonna shoot you pretty much fully automatic because of a bug right now. So everybody's doing it where you can just crouch and uncrouch, and I believe you can keep firing your musket and just keep reloading it. If it's a bow, he'll just stagger you and run away. And if you're using pretty much anything else, unless your build is like I guess a hammer or anything, it kind of feels like at this point it's pointless to even try. I've gone in and I've done pretty much everything I can. I've tried multiple different iterations of my build, and every time what I wanted to do ended up just being completely nullified by a great sword, a bow, or a musket. And it doesn't help that in the OPR it is more open than this entire area right here. OPR, there are no trees generally in most sections of it, and it's just you running around, trying to avoid the guy on the rocks with the muskets. And then if you get close, there's guys that have extremely crazy melee builds. And a lot of them just run the great sword, and if they're not, they're running it with the hammer. They're gonna pancake you. And something that you're gonna see pretty much all of the time, guaranteed right now, is the attunement. I think this is a problem. This is partly the problem that I think makes the game very unfair. Or at least a little unfun, because it's pretty much just a perk slot that, or a trait on your weapon that you pretty much always need is attunement. You're missing out by basically not having the 18% weapon damage. You're just missing out on that entirely, and that can end up being a lot of damage, especially when you start talking about like fully maxed out great axes and muskets and great swords. Also, gems matter very much. If you're a new player and you're trying to get into PvP, just understand that gems are going to play a big part of this. And it's not even gems, it's technically rune glasses that are what's really going to help you. Rune glasses allow for a lot of diversity and mix up in your playstyle. It can even be percent damage differences of 5 to 7%, depending on how much you want to gear your character for that stuff. But you basically always need attunement, and if you're going 300 strength, then you always basically want thwarting strikes. It's just an additional 11% damage. That's all of your attacks will be gaining grit as it is. You just kind of need it anyways. And then most of the time on your armor, it depends on really what you do. I was trying out Shrieking Heels. I think Shrieking Fortification is the play though. But I could never acquire enough money to get something that has Shrieking Fortification and all the perks I need, or I would like on it. Yeah, so. But it really depends on what you want to do. I know that I don't have Bisque gear, but if you don't, it feels like right now, especially if you don't have Bisque gear, you can't compete. Especially with what I find out, some of these players on the server that I play on either keep swapping around the servers. So before they implemented the 30-day cooldown on server transfers, it was like a 3-day, and you could swap servers and keep buying and selling gear, and then get best gear and come back to your server, because it might be different on every server, since every server's economy is different. Another thing that players were doing is, apparently I found out about this very recently, is that some people will actually buy multiple accounts just to feed one main account. So, you know, it is what it is, but it just kind of sucks to know. So if we go ahead and we just take a look into the weapon mastery here, we get into a little bit of where things start to get a little crazy. So the musket was supposed to be nerfed, but they changed, I believe, this perk right here. That used to require you to hit headshots, but it does, however, now not require that, and it requires you to hit your target. And like, you can stack powder burn and carry it around as much as you want, and any of these perks, sticky bomb, you know, to get people to move out of the areas, and scope just to do a 50% extra headshot damage. It's like the bow. I can go a little bit more detailed in the bow. I don't feel comfortable talking about the musket. As you can see, I have not leveled it, but it's very powerful in PvP, and it's been pretty much powerful for a while. Let's talk about the. I don't really have so much a problem with these weapons. Not like, even like the bow. Like, I don't even really mind the bow that much, or the ice gauntlet, or like most of the magicals. Even though the fire staff right now is crazy, but that's just because it got buffed. And I just haven't played against it a lot, so I don't know how to deal with it. But it seems pretty simple to deal with. But the greatsword. So this is where I start to have a little bit of problems. So I think the greatsword just seems like it. I understand that it just seems like it's mostly design creep that happened up with the greatsword. Because you're swapping between two stances. You're in Defiance stance and Onslaught. Onslaught, you deal 15% more damage, but you take it 50% more. And then your heavies charge up twice as fast. They equate to about, fully charged heavies can be about as fast as a light attack. And then Defiance stance, yeah, you take reduced damage, but your outgoing damage is reduced by 50%, and you block incoming attacks while you're defending. A lot of what you're gonna end up doing is going into to Onslaught, and then when you need to, swapping over into Defiance. But you're not gonna be doing it all the time, because you don't really need to do it all the time. But it is a big part of what you're gonna be doing on the greatsword. And then you have stuff like this, where light attacks and heavy attacks, charged heavies, reduce your cooldowns by 10%, which is actually ends up being quite a lot whenever that's all you're doing, and they come out about equalish speed to lights. And then you can start to see why this gets insane. There's a lot of buffs. There's actually a thing here that makes you do 3% damage for each buff on you, up to 12% more damage with four buffs, greatsword buffs on you, which is just insane. And players, this is pretty much all you see. I understand it is the newest weapon, so of course you would see it the most, but it is absolutely insane. I don't really have so much of it. I have minor annoyances with this, but Not even related to Defy Death. I think Defy Death is kind of dumb. It's got a cooldown of 75 seconds, and it's only for 3 seconds, so it's just annoying when it happens. The only thing I don't like is Berserk. Mostly because I don't like that you get the movement speed and are unstaggerable. But that's it for the hatch. I don't really care about anything else with it. The bow is also very strong. What you're gonna see a lot isn't even the poison cloud. You're gonna see mostly penetrating shot, and you're pretty much most of the time probably won't even catch bow users. So evade shot will let them get back, and if they hit you, they'll stagger you with the arrow. And they roll, they get 15% more damage, and then if they roll, they also get haste, and if they swap to their weapon, they get 10% haste. So what you'll see a lot of bow users do is they'll pull out a weapon maybe before they roll, and they'll swap to their bow after they roll, so they benefit from the roll speed and the haste for swapping to the weapon. And they do 10% more damage to people suffering from a debuff. And then the whole hunter tree just has to do with hitting targets that are farther away, doing more damage to targets that are farther away. Heavy attacks doing fully charged headshots deal more damage, 20% more damage to targets below 50% HP. 20% more damage to targets at full HP. 20% more damage if you haven't damaged them in a long time, and then just flat out landing headshots. And then they'll hit you with a rapid shot that can deal up to 150% extra damage on the third shot, and it will stagger you. And then penetrating shot does more damage, does 20% more damage if you're farther away than 20. If you're 20 meters or more away. So a lot of what the bow is just sitting back right now. And people were spamming it because arrow range is actually increasing the size of the arrow, but that's not so much happening anymore. But they're all running bows with attunement. The best is like attunement, vicious, and kingly jagged because all of those are proc at the same time. But that is mostly what I have a problem with, and the reason is because you're gonna see pretty much only these weapons in PvP. You will see great axes and great hammers, but war hammers, but a lot of times those are used for more utility than anything. And you will see sword and shields, and that's to try to deal with the bow users, but it's not always the easiest thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just complaining, but it just sucks to see all of it. And I tried multiple different variations and farming and put on a lot of work, but I don't know. I just wanted my build to work, and I guess since it doesn't, it's not really in my interest because I feel like I can't play with what I want to play with anyways in PvP. So that's what mostly I was interested in playing and taking part in. But it seems like it's very meta defined, and you can't really deviate too far from the meta. It feels like so. But yeah, guys, that's all. PvE wise, this game I still think it's pretty fun. I still haven't got to the mutations, so that's probably something I'll probably end up doing at some point, is trying out mutations. And seeing how that goes. But other than that, guys, I'm probably gonna be trying new games. And experimenting. But probably not as much New World content coming out anymore. Unless I hear some stuff about PvP changes coming to the game. Yeah, guys, that's all I want to talk about. Is just the PvP, because like I said, that's really what I was interested in when I was coming to the game. But it's also kind of what drove me to want to play the game less, because I understand that I wouldn't necessarily probably be good at PvP, but I feel like I'm kind of restricted in what I'm allowed to do PvP because the metas are so defining. And yeah. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a great night. See you guys.